Well, the world's biggest miners out with numbers this morning. BHP posting a record net profit, topping analyst expectations. A strong commodity business, obviously one of the considerations there. And with a global appetite for some of what BHP can offer, construction well underway at its Jansen project in Saskatchewan, which marks its largest single capital investment ever. Ragnar Udd is the president of Minerals Americas for BHP, and he joins us now. Thanks as always. Nice to have you back with us here on BNN Bloomberg.
Thanks for having me, John.
So, I mean, for those who spent a lot of time this morning talking about what's happening in the economy, what's happening in sort of the world of corporations right now, pretty busy quarter for you guys. But at the end of the day, it does seem like the commodity story worldwide has had quite an influence on your overall performance.
Look, I think that's right. It's been a very strong financial year for us. We said we did what we said we were going to do, both in terms of operationally, financially, and strategically. That said, it has been a really, really volatile year, and I'm very, very proud of the work that our teams have brought together to deliver this result today.
What goes into that? I mean, where has been the most delicate of matters as you've been navigating this uncertain time?
Look, I think I do want to call out first off the volatility that we've seen across the globe in terms of COVID, in terms of how the teams have actually navigated and managed to work together to continue to deliver our safe operations across the globe. We're now 3.5 years fatality-free as an organization, which is a big undertaking basically in any minerals business. Obviously, it is a combined effort, though, that we see across the globe in terms of creating options for the future, but also making sure that we have super strong operational discipline in terms of delivering the results day in, day out across the globe, whether that's in Australia, Chile, or Canada.
Well, let's talk about the opportunity that lies ahead. We alluded to the fact that you guys have been busy with that massive project on the potash front. As you've accelerated work on that, and there's been a lot of questions worldwide about having more sources of fertilizer. Give us an update on how things are going right now.
Look, first up, I actually want to remind your audience that when we sanctioned the Jansen project almost a year ago, we had no recognition of or understanding of what was going to happen in terms of Russia over the last year. Right. So it's against that overlay that we made the investment in Jansen to build a 4 million ton potash mine in Canada on the basis of what we see on strong long-term underlying demand in terms of potash. And we think we are fantastically placed basically in terms of an additional 3 phases on this project moving forward and future investment and future jobs in Canada if that demand and supply disruptions persist.
Has anything changed since we last connected with you, just in terms of, well, I guess both on the timing, just based on how things are going so far, but also on the economic benefits on that jobs front?
So, I mean, our primary purpose here is to actually feed the world. Potash demand is actually driven off of the back of a growing population. What we see is that demand will persist and continue into the future. For ourselves, the supply interruptions, obviously, that we've seen coming out of Russia and Belarus over the last year does impact the supply side of the equation, and not just in terms of the short term. We actually think longer term there's a story there about project financing and growth of projects that were expected to come on in the late 2020s. From our perspective for BHP, we think we are uniquely placed in terms of having shafts already completed, basically, that will take on and deliver 16 million tons of potash, a port that's well placed, and more than that, a team that has been studying and working on this stuff for the last 10 years and really have a fairly strong muscle both in studies and execution and delivery.
Ragnar, I know you work for a global company, but I think given this massive project in Canada at a time when figuring out complex supply chains and where the world's commodity resources are going to come from, there has been a big question about Canada's role in solving some of these big world issues. Can you just elaborate for us what you see as the Canadian opportunity and the conversations, the ongoing conversations you've been having with your Canadian partners on that front?
Well, and you may have picked up by my accent, I actually am Canadian as well, despite the fact that I've worked around the globe for the last 25 years. Canada is near and dear to my heart, and I think Canada offers a huge opportunity, has a huge opportunity to provide a solution globally in terms of what sits out there. The fact of the matter is, if we go to potash again, Canada has the premier potash basin in the world. The world is going to continue to need more food. And I think it is a Canadian opportunity and potentially even a responsibility to continue to provide what the world needs in terms of helping to feed the world. From a BHP perspective, we think we've got a huge potential to help do that, as demonstrated by the $7.5 billion Canadian investment that we made in August last year, and the potential 3 phases that sit behind that. Now, if I was to pivot to other commodities, I think copper and nickel are going to be hugely important for the world, both as the trends around electrification and decarbonization emerge. And we're working very closely across Canada to find other opportunities as well, including partnering with Midland Exploration.
Okay, we'll wait for more updates on that. Before I let you go, obviously, when you're feeding the world, feeding the Chinese market is part of that equation. And the BHP team was just talking about the outlook for demand in China as well today, in a week where we saw some headlines suggesting continued challenges for the Chinese economy. From your vantage point, for those who are trying to figure out how China fits into the global economic story this year into next year, what would you say about the demand picture right now?
So again, let me cut that question 2 ways. In terms of potash, important to understand that what we're bringing forward in terms of potash, China only plays a very small component in that. And it's one of the things we actually really like about potash is that we've got the ability to actually distribute that across the globe, including Canada, the US, Brazil, and other parts of Asia and Europe. And so that's one of the fundamentals that sit behind it. If I was to come back to sort of the macroeconomic picture, though, around China, look, I know the numbers that have come out sort of throughout the market, we've seen commentary that they've disappointed. They were actually broadly in line with what we've seen or we were expecting within BHP. We believe that China will actually serve as a bit of a tailwind in the global markets as compared to some of the other economies in the globe that are actually struggling a little bit with inflation and monetary policy and fiscal policy that sits behind it. So we continue to be fairly bullish in terms of where we think China's moving, even though it may not be as strong as people had expected.